What's up, y'all, and welcome to the channel. So, do you want to know how I made it to the top 22 of thousands and thousands of people that casted for Alone? So, here's my footage. Here's my first day that I sent to the producers of Alone, and this is the footage that got me a plane ticket to go to New York and cast with season 7 of Alone. Check it out. Hey everybody. I am here. I am in my wilderness. I've got a little bit of a hike. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna camp yet. Probably be making camp after dark sometime. But anyways, it's about 79, 80 degrees. And I'm headed in and I'm gonna make it a weekend. We're gonna do a little survival. I'm out here alone, and I'm so excited. I can't tell you or describe the feeling, especially the thoughts of having and doing this on a grand scale. You know, long term, to really see if you can tough it out and overcome all the odds that are against you. Here's my wilderness. I call her home for the next 3 days. I brought my knife. I actually made this knife. It is high carbon steel. The blade's only probably about a 5-inch blade. I don't need anything real big because I like to use my knife as a tool, pry bar, chopping wood, collecting stuff. And then I think my multi-tool, I'll use it for cleaning and gutting animals and doing fine work on fish maybe, and keep this as one of my main tools. So I'm down here in the woods and I am looking for a place to camp. There's tons of debris in here, so I think making a shelter is gonna be pretty easy. One thing that I am going to keep in mind is there is a pretty good chance of rain. I think right here looks perfect. I'm gonna set my camp up right here. This is typically how I would set my shelter up if I was in the wilderness and backpacking. This is kind of a similar situation here. That it's definitely going to be, the camera work is definitely going to be what because I want my shots to look good and I want everybody to enjoy what they're watching. But if for some reason I don't set you up level, sure is going to look like crap. Use part of this tree as part of my shelter, and then I'm gonna use some logs. I'm gonna stack some logs up on the back side of this shelter, and then I'm gonna actually pull it tight to where it's just a lean-to shelter. It's just for tonight. If I have to, if it starts raining, I can adjust the pitch. That way I don't get wet. That's my quick shelter right before dark. I'm gonna try to make a fire right out here in front of me. I'd say that's kind of a good start. I can't wait for tomorrow also. I sure hope y'all pick me. Thank you very much, first of all, for the opportunity. If anything, this is super fun, just getting to live out a childhood memory or fantasy, I guess. And now the train. I'll tell you guys one thing, I will enjoy not being, or I'll enjoy being able to get away from Texas. It's kind of depressing, you know, there's not much wilderness in Texas. We have the lowest percentage of public land, so it's hard for somebody like me that lives right here next to the big city like Austin. I'm sure y'all can hear all the cars and stuff. Anyways, I'm on 10,000 acres, and it's almost impossible to get away from all of the noise. So I grew up in a not so great place near Austin, Texas, and I was brought up out on a river. And anyways, I didn't like school because as I was growing up, I was always kind of a loner and a loner, because I had so many people that used to make fun of me whenever I was a little kid. My mom and dad didn't have so much money, and you know, they could afford a few things that I loved, and that was fishing and hunting. My dad took us hunting. My dad went hunting. You know, that's primarily where a lot of our meat came from whenever I was growing up, was my dad actively hunting and fishing. And that's the meat that we would eat, because we couldn't afford to go to the grocery stores and buy farm raised meat. My mom and dad are both very hardworking people, and they instilled a work ethic in me that just goes on for days. So I have always loved being out on my own. I didn't like the whole school idea, so all I've done was work my tail off for everything that I've got, my wife including, you know. And this is a huge opportunity, and you know, this is possible life-changing opportunity. So I think it benefits me to do 100% my best, and thank y'all again for this opportunity. I've always loved that, that whole, I guess, romance of, you know, the survivor by himself kind of, you know, situation. Can you really do it? You know, there's so many people that think that they can, but they don't realize that Mother Nature she is very, very rough. And all the people that came before us, as far as, native people, we don't realize what generations of people before us have gone through, you know, and we have it so easy nowadays. So my self-reliant style, I think, is kind of a bushcraft and hunter style. You can't live without eating, and without being a hunter and a trapper and a bushcrafter, I don't think you're going to be able to make it out there. When I go into the forest, I'm always super excited, yet I'm very observant. I've got my head on a swivel, and I've got my ears perked up. That's why, if you notice, whenever I'm it's hard for me to be in this situation and not want to whisper, because I don't want to scare any animals that might be in my vicinity. I don't want to, protrude into their natural area. I want to just kind of blend in. That's how I like to come into the situation. All right, guys, I think we're gonna try and make a fire. So I've already got my, I've got a little tinder bundle here, and I've got my ferro rod, and I've actually got some, this wood right here is very, very kind of soft, and it's almost kind of punky, like it'll catch a spark pretty easy. So if for some reason that my cedar bundle doesn't work, hopefully this other one will. Apply good pressure and strike. Makes it pretty easy whenever there's so much debris around. I spent a lot of nights by myself, especially out in the mountains. I enjoy all the sounds and the crickets and the pops and cracks that you don't know what it is. Woo! He's right here. I called him up. So I don't know what size pot this is, but it was all I brought with me. It is used heavily from elk season. But anyways, I'm gonna go get some water down here by the river. Bait, guys. Sorry I didn't film it. Let me show you in here. I just scooped this thing right up out of the river. It looked like it had been bitten by something else. But anyways, there's a bunch of little bait fish right here. I might try to go ahead and catch me a couple of them. Oh my gosh, look, a little piece of net. Let's see if I can't net them. Yes. Got 3 so far. I just got super lucky. I think we're gonna be able to catch some fish for sure. I got lucky with the net, and I caught some bait, so I'm gonna go back up to the shelter and rig up a couple of little trot lines. So I'm gonna try to find something that I can use for weights to get this bait down to the bottom. Minnows. I caught all these by hand with that little bitty net. I got me some bait, and I've got water boiling right now. If you guys can see my pot. Got some water getting ready to be disinfected, and I'm about to build some trot lines. Hopefully catch some breakfast or even some late dinner. I got a fire going, so I'm gonna try to do some fishing. I've got, I don't know if you can see in my bottle here. Oh yeah. Bring it to a good rolling boil and then set it off to cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to set a couple of these lines out. Hopefully they catch us some fish. Well, I would say day one or half of day one is pretty good success, I would say. We got here, we made camp, we got a fire going, and oh, tired. And we also got 3 trout lines set with bait, so we're actively fishing. Hopefully we have some luck. Until tomorrow, we'll see y'all in the morning.